If you want to know the secrets of existence and the true meaning of life, I can't help you. But if you want some book recommendations, why not try reading the ones I wrote? If you're a fan of giant monster mayhem and anime weirdness, why not try Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1? If horror is more your style, you can't go wrong with The Occult Mafia. Those who enjoy their fantasy with a dark twist may be interested in Emerald of Maddox City. And if you're interested in shared universes, why not read all three? Hop on down to the description for links to all three books on Amazon. Enjoy whichever ones you read, and enjoy the video.
Okay, Dynamite, you know the drill. I'm gonna make a video, you're just gonna lie there and look cute. You think you can do that? Yeah, you know you can do that. It's what you're best at. Okay, girl, here we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Omni viewer. You can probably hear Dynamite chewing next to me. And I'm trying to get her not to chew on me. She is still a puppy, she's still learning. But either way, I'm still going to try and make a video. And today's subject, since I'm just trying to get some stuff out there to keep you guys satisfied while I'm working on the long form stuff, I'm going to do a little bit of a list video because I'm told the internet loves lists. Don't eat my shirt, you little... Okay, you, calm down, calm down. This is why you don't generally work with animals. Just ignore any of the sounds she makes while she's chewing. It comes with the territory. Anyway, today's list is based on something that I've been doing a lot while I was sick. I was watching a lot of paranormal documentaries. I'm one of those weird guys who likes documentaries, and of course I like the paranormal, so as you can imagine, I like documentaries about the paranormal. Unfortunately, there aren't many good paranormal documentaries these days, and the reason is basically confirmation bias. Whether it's something that takes a skeptical approach like Missing Evidence, or something that takes a die-hard believer approach like Ancient Aliens, documentaries about the paranormal these days seem so focused on taking one particular stance that they ultimately don't say anything of value. The thing is, way back when Charles Fort pioneered modern paranormal investigation, he didn't set out to actually provide answers. He set out to make a case for the fact that answers need to be found. He just went out there, he documented everything, he put it all together and presented it to the scientific community and said, look, this is what's going on. We can't just say this is all written off as folklore and superstition. There's something real going on here, and if you guys are true scientists, you'll investigate. Fort was very disillusioned with the scientific community at the time. He felt that it had basically developed its own form of dogma no different than the Catholic Church. I can only imagine how he would feel about the modern day in which people are literally referring to science as a belief system. So I wanted to take the time to recommend some paranormal documentaries to you guys. These are films that don't indulge in sensationalism, nor do they skew too far in one direction or the other. They just document everything and put it forth for you. And I'm sticking specifically with documentary films in this case. I'm not doing any series. So for as much as I love In Search Of, whether it's the original that was hosted by Spock or the most recent version that was hosted by Spock, I'm not going to put it on this list. I'm assuming you already are familiar with In Search Of, so go and watch it again if you haven't already. Anyway, on with the list. And we're starting off at number 5 with sort of a multi-slot. This slot goes to the classics. Films like The Mysterious Monsters, The Legend of Boggy Creek, Chariots of the Gods, and things like that. These are the films that basically pioneered paranormal documentaries as we know them today. Now, yes, I realize these films are a little dated. They were made way back in the 70s, so some of what they depict has been reclassified over the years, and they can come across as a little bit hokey at times. The Mysterious Monsters also does this weird thing where it justifies the existence of Bigfoot by assuming the existence of Nessie, even though both of those are still speculative creatures to this day. But still, these are the classics, this is where it all began, and I think it's always important to remember the past. You should always remember where you came from in order to fully understand where you are and where you're going. That's just generally good life advice as well. The number 4 spot goes to Mirageman, a UFO documentary with a twist, and one that's guaranteed to make your head spin. Mirageman is all about misdirection, and boy is it full of twists and turns. At the beginning, we take a look at how several ufologists have been deliberately led by people to think that they were investigating extraterrestrial UFO cases, when in actuality they had gotten too close to discovering more grounded government secrets, so the government sent someone to deliberately throw them off the course so the secret could remain secret. But just when you think that it's going to take the approach that all of this stuff is just that, the government is spreading lies about UFOs to make you think it's aliens when in fact it's just government stuff, turns out the filmmakers actually think there's something to the UFO phenomenon, and they're more than willing to acknowledge that misdirection can work both ways, particularly when it comes to how the news media always seems to deflect UFO sightings as a joke. Now, why would they do that? And what about the really outlandish cases, the ones that read like bad sci-fi plots? If the whole point of government misdirection is to be believable, then shouldn't they go for more grounded cases? And does that mean that the really outlandish cases are genuine? Or is it just more misdirection? By the end, you may not know what to think anymore. All you'll know is that a certain individual who has appeared in quite a few UFO documentaries over the years is probably not trustworthy. So if you're really into ufology and you want to take the field seriously, this is highly recommended. Though it might take you a while to really sort things out once you've watched it. Slot number 3 belongs to the Bridgewater Triangle. Based on a line from Loren Coleman's book Mysterious America, the Bridgewater Triangle focuses on a paranormal hotspot in Massachusetts. And when I say hotspot, holy cow. Practically everything you can think of has happened in the Bridgewater Triangle. Cryptids, UFOs, cult activity, ghosts, things that don't really have a category and are just anomalous. There's so much that happens that the documentary can't even cover it all, so it hits a lot of the highlights instead. Since so much happens in this area, that means there's a little something for everyone. You get some interesting interviews with eyewitnesses and experts. The accounts themselves are very compelling. The Bridgewater Triangle is not your typical paranormal documentary because it casts such a wide net. And in fact, there are hours worth of interviews, I believe, on the DVD that didn't even make it into the final film. So there's a lot to unpack with this one. Whatever your specialty is, whatever your field of interest might be, there's probably something for you in here. The number 2 spot goes to Eyes of the Mothman. If you're interested at all in these strange events which occurred in Point Pleasant, West Virginia between November 1966 and December 1967, there are 2 sources that are about as thorough as you can get. One is John Keel's Mothman Prophecies book, and the other is the Eyes of the Mothman documentary. It is incredibly thorough. You could even argue that it's too thorough. Even though its primary focus is on Mothman, because he's at the heart of the case, the documentary explores every paranormal event which occurred during that stretch of time in West Virginia. And it leaves no stone unturned when looking at the different possibilities of what could explain all of these events. As a result, it clocks in at 2 hours and 45 minutes long, making it the longest documentary on this list. Even as someone who likes documentaries, I had to watch this one in chunks. I could not make it through in one sitting. But it was worth watching all the way to the end all the same. So whether you try to get through it all in one go, or you have to do it in sections, Eyes of the Mothman is a must-watch for any Mothman enthusiast. And the number 1 slot goes to the Small Town Monsters filmography. Small Town Monsters is a little independent film group based out of Ohio, whose specialty is examining different paranormal cases by region, if you will. The name says it all. If there's a monster that's specific to a small town, that's within their field of expertise. Their filmography to date consists of Minerva Monster, Beast of Whitehall, Boggy Creek Monster, The Mothman of Point Pleasant, Invasion on Chestnut Ridge, The Flatwoods Monster, A Legacy of Fear, The Bray Road Beast, Terror in the Skies, Momo the Missouri Monster, The Mothman Legacy, and Mark of the Bell Witch, as well as the On the Trail of docu-mini series with seasons focused on Champ, Bigfoot, UFOs, and hauntings. Small Town Monsters doesn't set out to try proving anything one way or the other. They take the approach that these events, whatever they may have actually been, really did happen, and they deserve to be documented. As a result, they play more like historical documentaries than scientific ones. Moreover, each film has a distinct style. The first few films when they were just started out are clearly low budget and rely heavily on still images, and they're much shorter. But starting with their fourth film, The Mothman of Point Pleasant, they up their game. They start using animated recreations. The films get longer and a bit more thorough in their examinations. Different styles start to be applied to each film. Say, Mark of the Bell Witch and Bray Road Beast are framed more like horror stories, whereas Invasion on Chestnut Ridge is done sort of like a 70s sci-fi film. Momo the Missouri Monster is one half documentary and one half homage to 70s squatchploitation movies. They're entertaining films, even as they are conveying information to you. They're also great if you're looking for paranormal cases that tend to get overlooked in the mainstream, or stuff that's only ever mentioned in passing amidst much larger things. So they are definitely worth checking out. They've got more films and series on the way, and they look just as good as everything that's come before. So there you have it. Those are my recommendations for paranormal documentaries. Sure, you can watch the other sensationalized stuff if you want, but if you prefer to take these fields seriously, I think these films are a good place to start. Or a good place to continue if you've already started. Anyway, just felt like sharing that with you guys. If you have any recommendations, please leave them in the comments section down below. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer signing off.
If you enjoyed what you just saw, hop on down to the description for links to Patreon, DeviantArt, and all of our social media, as well as links for Operation Red Dragon, The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, The Occult Mafia, and Emerald of Maddox City, 3 original novels I think you'll really enjoy. Thank you all, and we appreciate your support.